Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mind for Combat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and to my platform where I do fight sports related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. It don't cost you shit, it'll make all the difference in the world for me. So don't be snaky. I know you're watching, you're probably not subscribed. Hardly anyone watches these videos anyways, but if you are watching, then help me by subscribing to the channel. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to be breaking down the final fight of UFC in the year 2020. Now, I think we should all just take a minute to appreciate that everything that UFC has done to bring some normality back to our lives in the year 2020. It's been a very difficult year, and I think the way that UFC's handled it has been actually incredible. I am a huge fan of all things combat sports, including Dana White. I'm a huge fan of Dana White, and I know he gets a lot of flack over the time, but without Dana White, there's really no UFC. So I really appreciate him, and I appreciate all his efforts for everything he's done. I think a moment of appreciation should definitely be shown that. And now let's talk about this fight. So, Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards, which was meant to be the main event, got pulled out because of COVID, etc., etc. Now, I'm wishing a fast recovery to Leon Edwards. Hope to see him back soon. But this is still an incredible fight, and it's between Stephen Thompson, a top 5 welterweight, versus Geoff Neal, a guy who's 5-0 in the UFC, has looked absolutely exceptional, is only 30 years old, and is a top prospect. So this is truly old guard versus upcoming storm. So how's this fight going to play out? It's very interesting. I'm going to break this one down, but just to consider what some of the fallout could be of this fight, I believe a win here will put the winner maybe 1 or 2 wins away from a title shot. Certainly if it's Stephen Thompson, he's always been at the thick of things, and I think the way the division's playing out at the top, it could be a very interesting position for either man. A win here puts them in a position to be able to get 1 or 2 more big wins and be fighting for a belt. With that said, let's break this one down. Stephen Thompson coming into this fight is 37 years old. That makes him 7 years older than Geoff Neal. At 37 years old, you're going to expect to see him starting to slow down and decrease. But if you follow him on YouTube or even watch his last fight, you'll see that he maintains incredible shape, has a very strict diet, and actually continues to look great and perform at a high stage. I expect at some point we're going to see him slow down, and maybe to some degree even in this fight. I don't think we're going to see a declining old man coming into this fight. Geoff Neal was 30 years old, has looked incredible coming up, and he's in the prime of his career and in the prime of his life. Stephen Thompson comes into this fight with a professional record of 15 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw. It's important to note he's also had about 60 or 70 professional kickboxing fights before he started an MMA career. Geoff Neal has a professional record of 13 wins and 2 losses. So if you consider Stephen Thompson's kickboxing career as well, which is professional fights, so why wouldn't you? And Geoff Neal's a striker, so it makes all the difference. There is a vast amount of experience difference between the two of these. Stephen Thompson stands at 6 foot tall, which makes him an inch taller than the 5'11" Geoff Neal, but they both have an identical 75-inch reach, so no advantage there. To describe their style, Stephen Thompson is a karate-based kickboxer. You see him when he fights, he's very side-on with his hands low, and he has great spinning dexterity, great kicks there. He's got decent boxing, kind of good hand speed, and he likes to zip in, zip out. Geoff Neal was a more traditional kickboxer with his hands held high, but he has very explosive movements. He likes to stay on his toes. He hits hard with everything that he does, explodes into those knees, and he is very, very dynamic all round. He's incredible on the feet, and actually he's not bad on the ground as well, but this fight will be settled on the feet. Let's face it. Some of the key wins. Now, Stephen Thompson has got an incredible resume at welterweight, even looking back at his most recent win over Vicente Luque, who's a top welterweight contender right now on the rise, a guy who I think a lot of. Before that, he lost the fight to Showtime Pettis, but if we look at his career, he's beaten the likes of Jorge Masvidal, who's obviously gone on to go on a great run after that. He had a draw with Tyron Woodley when Tyron Woodley was unbeatable. He's beaten Rory McDonald, a former Bellator champion, a top contender in the UFC. He's beaten Johnny Hendricks, who was coming off a win at the time, former welterweight champion. So that win means a little bit more. He beat Patrick Cote, who was 6-1 in his last 7 at that point. And then, of course, he's beaten the likes of Jake Ellenberger as well. He's had some incredible wins, and he knocked out Robert Whittaker in his last fight at welterweight. So I guess that was a great learning experience for Robert Whittaker. And I think he had one more fight after that, and then he went to middleweight. But yeah, Geoff Neal has got some good wins of his own. He's beaten the likes of Nico Price, and more importantly, a guy who I think a lot of in Bilal Muhammad. That's a great win. The issues coming into this fight for Stephen Thompson is going to be his age and the fact that he keeps his chin up high, hands low. He's so hittable, and Geoff Neal is so dynamic and explosive. If he hits you, he's probably going to be finishing you, and he'll hit him at some point. So how's that going to play out in this fight? The issues for Geoff Neal at this stage is just going to be experience. At this level of the game, he's just so inexperienced. We don't know how he's going to hold up against the likes of Stephen Thompson, but very, very interesting to see. The X factor for Stephen Thompson is going to be his kickboxing and his timing experience, and of kickboxing experience and his timing. The X factor for Geoff Neal is going to be his explosive ability, power, and of course his freshness and youth. With that said, let's get into the prediction. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a fight that's handled on the feet. How it goes on the feet is very interesting. I think Stephen Thompson's always shown a susceptibility to leg kicks, and I think Geoff Neal is going to have a lot of success with leg kicks early. I think Stephen Thompson's going to probably look to zip in, zip out, and early he's going to be doing a lot of that, and I think he's going to be landing a lot of combinations with his hands. He's actually got quite good accuracy with his punching, Stephen Thompson. But I think Geoff Neal is going to be the one who has the edge in athleticism in this fight. He's going to have the edge in all-round striking, in the sense of the way he's going to have his hands held high, and he's going to be kicking those legs. And I think the more he kicks those legs, the slower Stephen Thompson's going to be. At 37, we're going to struggle. I think Stephen Thompson's going to have a lot of success early in this fight, and probably later on as well. I think the middle rounds are the ones that are going to be up for debate, and I'll explain that. Early, I think Stephen Thompson's going to be awkward and difficult to figure out, and later I think his experience is going to come through, as Geoff Neal I don't think will be able to finish Stephen Thompson. Rounds 2, 3, and 4 is going to be where it's interesting. I think if Geoff Neal is able to get into a rhythm and start to land some damage, I think he's going to be able to run away with that. I am absolutely unsure on how this fight goes, to be honest with you guys, but if I have to pick just based on youth, athleticism, ability and freshness coming into this fight, and the fact that Stephen Thompson is Asian and the stylistic matchup that's proposed, I'm thinking that Geoff Neal is going to be able to outstrike Stephen Thompson for 3 of those 5 rounds, do some damage to the legs and land some big shots upstairs, and be able to get the W here. Guys, for my official prediction, I'm going with Geoff Neal for the win to move on as a welterweight contender. Sorry about the sirens, South London. So Geoff Neal is going to become an official welterweight contender, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how his career plays out next. But I have absolutely no certainty about this one, and I think this is one of the toughest fights to break down as it goes. Anyways, guys, if you're new here, remember to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Comment below and let me know how you see this fight going, and let me know if you enjoyed my breakdown and all the rest of it. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm Rohan, and this is Mindful Combat.